reputation precedes you.
I have to admit, I wasn't expecting an invitation back.
They're called orders, Maverick.
As we begin to emerge from the pandemic, things are beginning to look up. The movie industry has been, like many others, adversely affected by social distancing regulations and mandated shutdowns. But as businesses are opening back up, we like to think we're heading in the right direction. So with that in mind, we look ahead to the films that we can expect to see gracing Cineplex marquees in 2022. And man, are there some great titles lined up.
Where are you supposed to be?
Vengeance.
One good thing to know is that pandemic aside, movie release dates are always changing. So at the time of this recording, this is a list of films we have. And of course, this countdown is a little different. Instead of counting from 10 to 1, we're counting from January to December. Also, as of now, no notable movies are listed for August, so we're just gonna skip that month. And since these movies haven't been released yet, it goes without saying there is obviously no score. So get excited as we count down the most anticipated movies of 2022. Starting with January. The 355. Veteran X-Men writer and director Simon Kinberg helms this spy thriller about a group of international agents who band together to recover a top-secret weapon from a dangerous mercenary. This film stars Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o, Diane Kruger, and is directed by Simon Kinberg. Scream. The directing duo known as Radio Silence take on Ghostface in a new entry in Wes Craven's meta-horror franchise. Details on plot for this one are still thin at the moment, but bet on the film to continue the mythology surrounding Sidney Prescott and her traumatic, very unlucky past. This film stars Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and is directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. Morbius. Sony's latest entry in its Spider-Verse franchise of connected films is the origin story of a scientist who inadvertently turns himself into a vampire in his efforts to cure himself of a rare blood disease. Swedish director Daniel Espinosa takes up the helm, and Michael Keaton, who appeared in the MCU Spider-Man Homecoming as the villain Vulture, is set to make an appearance, which has all kinds of crossover implications. The film stars Jared Leto, Matt Smith, Adria Arjona, and is directed by Daniel Espinosa.
This isn't funny, Amber.
Would you like to play a game, Tara?
Doors unlocked. All doors locked. Doors unlocked.
February. Jackass Forever. Most of the Jackass gang is back for a final hurrah alongside people like Tony Hawk, Tyler the Creator, Eric Andre, and more. Expect a lot of cringe-inducing stunts and outrageous pranks, but be prepared for an unexpected dose of heart as the boys go out in a blaze of glory. The film stars Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Chris Pontius, and is directed by Jeff Tremaine. Death on the Nile. Kenneth Branagh will return as Detective Hercule Poirot, following the surprise success of 2017's Murder on the Orient Express, which Branagh also directed. The film stars Gal Gadot, Tom Bateman, and Kenneth Branagh, who also directs the film. Ambulance. Michael Bay tones down his blockbuster tendencies just a bit for this smaller scale thriller. This film is about a pair of thieves who unknowingly rob an ambulance carrying a paramedic and a patient in critical condition. This remake of a Danish film has been in development since 2015, but filming finally got underway in January of 2021. The film stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Isa Gonzalez, and is directed by Michael Bay. Uncharted. This Indiana Jones-styled action-adventure film, based on the popular video game series of the same name, has been floating around in development for more than a decade. Tom Holland was confirmed to star in the film as the central hero, Nathan Drake, and it officially went into production in early 2020. It lands here after several shifts in the release schedule, so let's hope it stays here. The film stars Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas, and is directed by Ruben Fleischer.
Pretty sure he just threatened to kill me.
Don't touch your ear like that. You look like an idiot.
Oh, God!
Oh my God!
I shouldn't have come out to play with the big boys, Ian, because you're about to get a proper Scottish welcome.
What?
Oh, crap!
March. The Batman. If you're looking for yet another iteration of the Caped Crusader, you're in luck. Despite the ongoing DC Extended Universe of films, Planet of the Apes director Matt Reeves tackles what looks to be an even darker take on Batman than we've already seen, with an impressive cast. The film stars Robert Pattinson, Jeffrey Wright, Zoe Kravitz, and is directed by Matt Reeves. Turning Red. The first of 2 Pixar offerings in 2022 is this fantastical coming-of-age tale about a 13-year-old girl who transforms into a giant red panda whenever she gets too excited about something. It will be the feature directorial debut of Domee Shi, who won the Oscar for Best Animated Short Film for Bao in 2018. The film stars Rosalie Xiong, Sandra Oh, and is directed by Domee Shi.
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.
What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Take it.
I got you! I got you!
April. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the last big movies to hit theaters before coronavirus lockdowns went into effect, and it became one of the highest grossing films of 2020. With that in mind, Paramount got right to work developing a sequel. Dr. Robotnik returns with all sorts of wacky shenanigans, and we are so excited to finally see Tails in action with Sonic himself. This film stars Ben Schwartz, Tika Sumpter, Idris Elba, and is directed by Jeff Fowler. Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. The third installment in the Harry Potter spin-off series will continue the adventures of Newt Scamander. The previous film ended on a downer, so who knows what the wizarding world will be like. The film stars Eddie Redmayne, Jude Law, and is directed by David Yates. The Northman. The man who brought us The Witch in the Lighthouse returns with this revenge thriller, again set in the past. Anya Taylor-Joy, who starred in The Witch, reunites with director Robert Eggers, alongside an all-star cast for a story about a Viking prince out to avenge the death of his father. Eggers co-wrote the film with Icelandic writer Jean, and the film co-stars that country's biggest pop culture export, Björk, who makes her first narrative feature film appearance since 2000's Dancer in the Dark. The film stars Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, and is directed by Robert Eggers.
Today's forecast calls for a 100% chance of adventure. Return to sender. Face it, you're never going to get my power.
Do I look like I need your power?
Where are my manners? Sonic, meet Knuckles.
May. Legally Blonde 3. We don't know what the story will entail, but we do know that a third entry in the beloved Reese Witherspoon comedy franchise, Legally Blonde, is set to come out sometime this month. The film has been in development since 2018 and was originally scheduled to open in 2020, but various delays, including, yes, the coronavirus, set it back. The film stars Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Coolidge, and is directed by Jamie Suk. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Anticipation will be very high for this entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the first of 3 in 2022, that will directly tie in with the events in Marvel's first Disney Plus series, WandaVision. After some behind-the-scenes shakeups, director Sam Raimi jumped on board, and it's been reported that the story will see the return of familiar characters from the first film. The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Benedict Wong, and is directed by Sam Raimi. John Wick Chapter 4. John Wick Chapter 4 is reportedly being shot back-to-back with Chapter 5, so while we don't quite know where the story is going to go in this next installment, we can be sure that it won't be the end of the saga. Keanu Reeves is set to return as the puppy-loving assassin extraordinaire, and we expect the action set pieces will be top-notch as usual. The film stars Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Ian McShane, and is directed by Chad Stahelski. Top Gun Maverick. Great balls of fire, we are getting a Top Gun sequel more than 30 years later. Now, not a whole lot is known about the movie, except that the filmmakers have recruited Miles Teller to play Goose's son, and that Val Kilmer is officially back as Iceman. And as the trailer promises, it will again feature Tom Cruise riding motorcycles, playing volleyball, and flying jets like a madman. The film stars Tom Cruise, Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, and is directed by Joseph Kosinski.
This is your captain speaking. Today's exercise is dogfighting.
2 versus 1? Hey, he's got to be kidding. What the hell?
June. Jurassic World Dominion. Jeff Goldblum closed out the last chapter of the Jurassic franchise by declaring that humans would have to learn to coexist with dinosaurs. And though the plot of this trilogy capper is being kept pretty tight under wraps, it's safe to assume it will deal with the ramifications of Fallen Kingdom. The big news here is that the Jurassic Park original stars, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum are all set to return. The film stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Laura Dern, and is directed by Colin Trevorrow. Lightyear. The Toy Story franchise has presumably come to an end, but Pixar feels there's still more fun to be had with these characters, just in a different way. Fresh off his stint as the MCU's Captain America, Chris Evans will lend his voice to the real Buzz Lightyear, the astronaut who was the inspiration for the action figure voiced by Tim Allen. And this prequel will explore how he became so famous that they turned him into a toy. The film stars Chris Evans and is directed by Angus MacLane.
Settle down, kid. She can't run forever.
July. Minions: The Rise of Gru. We last saw the Minions wreaking havoc in 1960s England before they met up with a young Gru. Perhaps their next adventure will be their first with him. I mean, after all, the first Minions movie made more than $1.5 billion globally and helped the Despicable Me franchise become the highest grossing animated franchise of all time. The film stars Pierre Coffin and is directed by Kyle Balda and Brad Abelson. Thor: Love and Thunder. Marvel's second film of 2022 is the highly anticipated follow-up to Taika Waititi's Thor Ragnarok, which reinvented the character to the delights of critics and audiences alike. Natalie Portman's Jane Foster will return to the franchise, and it's been teased that she will wield Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, at some point. We also know that Valkyrie will be back, and the film will feature the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher is something that we just cannot wait to see. The film stars Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, Natalie Portman, and is directed by Taika Waititi. Nope. After the runaway success of Get Out and Us, Jordan Peele got real busy real fast, but he's finally getting around to making his third feature. As to be expected, we don't really know anything about the film except for the cast and that it's a horror film. The film stars Keke Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, Stephen Yeun, and is directed by Jordan Peele. Black Adam. Dwayne Johnson has been attached to star in Black Adam since at least as early as 2014. But in 2022, he will finally hit the big screen and officially join the DCEU as the all-powerful anti-hero. As the nemesis to Zachary Levi's Shazam, there's definitely an on-screen crossover to look forward to in the future as well. The film stars Dwayne Johnson, Pierce Brosnan, Aldous Hodge, and is directed by Kwame Khaled-Serra.
Ideas of world. She's out.
September. Mission Impossible 7. Tom Cruise will be back in action for the 7th installment in the franchise that showcased his willingness to engage in death-defying stunts. Christopher McQuarrie will also be back as writer and director after serving those roles in the last 2 films, and hopefully he'll be able to pull off a hat trick with a 3rd certified fresh film in a row. The film stars Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, Rebecca Ferguson, and is directed by Christopher McQuarrie. October. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. We are so excited to see this version of Spider-Man once again. The Oscar-winning animated feature was a big hit with critics and audiences, and Across the Spider-Verse is probably one of the few movies that could give an MCU film a run for its money. While the plot of the film is still a bit of a mystery, we suspect more dimension hopping. The film stars Shameik Moore, Haley Steinfeld, Oscar Isaac, and is directed by Joaquim Dos Santos, Ken Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. Halloween Ends. Director David Gordon Green and writers Danny McBride and Scott Teems successfully sequel-booted the Halloween franchise with 2018's Halloween. And based on its reception, they decided to go ahead and give us a full-on trilogy. That trilogy ends with the appropriately titled Halloween Ends, in which Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode will face off against Michael Myers one last time. The film stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Matichak, James Jude Courtney, and is directed by David Gordon Green. November. The Flash. In case you hadn't heard, multiverses are going to be all the rage in 2022, and this movie is looking to be DC's contribution to that trend. Like a lot of films on this list, we don't yet know anything about the story, but the casting of Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne is either a super meta stunt or a big hint as to what we'll see. The film stars Ezra Miller, Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and is directed by Andy Muschietti. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. In a truly sad and shocking turn of events, we lost Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman in 2020, and both filmmakers and fans across the world mourned his passing. This obviously led to questions about what would happen to the Marvel character, as he was set to become an important piece of the MCU's future. As it turns out, we're still getting a second film in 2022, but Boseman will not be recast, and the story will instead shift to focus on King T'Challa's spunky sister Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. Outside of that, we don't know what the film will entail, including how T'Challa's absence will be addressed. The film stars Letitia Wright, Denai Guerrera, Lupita Nyong'o, and is directed by Ryan Coogler.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere you want, right? Any timeline, any universe. Why do you want to stay and fight to save this one? You changed the future. And you changed the past.
Are you in?
December. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. James Wan returns to the director's chair for another go at the world of Atlantis and the DC superhero Aquaman. And characters like Ocean Master and Black Manta will all return. No other details about the film are available right now, but the first film was a box office hit, and here's hoping Wan's second film is the same. The film stars Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, Patrick Wilson, and is directed by James Wan. And finally, Avatar 2. It's taken almost a decade and a half, but we are finally getting the long ago promised follow-up to James Cameron's once highest grossing film of all time, Avatar. Jake Sully and Neytiri now have a family on Pandora, but when old enemies return, they are forced to evacuate and find a new home. The film stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Kate Winslet, and is directed by James Cameron. Well, friends, that about does it for us. Be sure to stay tuned to the Rotten Tomatoes channel for more of the entertainment content that you love. Until next time, I'm your host, Naz Perez, and we'll see you back here for more top 10s on the Rotten Tomatoes Countdown.